We're back live on the Cheapy Productions Podcast Empire Network, whatever moniker you want to put on it, with another edition of the weekly news review of the items that we find interesting anyway, with the big bad wolf himself, or El Gigantic Americano this week. Mr. Ryder with Ryder's Rasslin Review. How are things in your new abode and in the lovely Sunshine State?
Things are delightful. A little rainy at the moment, but it's a tropical paradise. I got my pool out back. I've got my beer in my hand. It's been a wonderful, wonderful week of transition here. So cheers to you, my friend.
I have some green tea, so here we go.
I have Colorado's finest here.
Oh, of course, the Silver Bullet. Very good, very good. That sounded like a Jimmy Buffett song that you just riffed there. That was freestyle, right?
That was freestyle. It was good, right?
You're a talented man. Well, I have to say happy Canada Day to my fellow countrymen here, or as some online have said, future 51st state day. That remains to be seen. But I wanted to start with a news item actually that is making the rounds up here anyway, about the former Hart House in Calgary, Alberta. You'll see here there were two bronze plaques in the front of the property, one that said Hart House and one that said Foothills Athletic Club. Stu had those put on when the property was first taken over by himself. Well, some individuals did this.
Oh, they stole them, huh?
Stole them. So a number of Hart family luminaries, including Davy Boy Smith Jr., Harry Smith, and our good friend Teddy Hart, are putting the word out that if you have any information leading to the arrest of those scumbags responsible for that, then call the Calgary Police Service. I thought that people couldn't get any lower than they are now, Mr. Ryder, but that takes the cake.
I would assume that was some teenagers that thought it was funny, and now they have them, and they don't know what to do with them. And I would bet they wind up back at the Hart House before that becomes a federal. That's going to be punishable by death up there, fucking with the Harts, right?
Well, it's pretty close. Bret Hart is, still a national hero. He and a very well-loved hockey personality by the name of Don Cherry, they're about 1 and 2 or 1A and 1B in any of the polls as to who the greatest Canadian is. Gretzky's fallen a bit. But
what about Gretzky? Is Gretzky fallen off?
He's fallen a little bit, yeah, for reasons unknown. Maybe it's his handling of the hockey franchise in Phoenix, but one will never know about that. But yeah, he has fallen down. But Brett and the Harts are definite royalty. I hate to see that, and let's hope you're right. Some idiot young offenders took them off, and without thinking. We're thinking, I don't know, how would you fence that? You wouldn't even fence it. It would be impossible to unload. So let's do the right thing, whoever the individual or individuals are, and get them back ASAP.
Maybe
someone
pulling a swerve. Maybe they took them to get them reconditioned to bring them back all nice and new and shiny.
Maybe that would not be nice though if they cleaned them up a little bit. You have a better faith in human nature than I do, I think, at the moment. But
Lauderdale, I have zero faith.
I was going to say, yeah.
This is a stunning place for shady characters. I am fortunately not one of them.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of them here.
Yeah, I was reading even my favorite place in the good old United States, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm reading all the time about violence there after night shootings, gone up like exponential number. I'm not really sure why, because isn't South Carolina a Republican state?
It is, but Republican states have assholes too, unfortunately. Absolutely. And they're always by the beach for some reason. They go to the beach and destroy the beach.
Tourist areas, I guess, but still a lovely lovely city, a lovely community. I'm glad to have a condo there. I go to it every year for at least a couple of weeks. Wanted to start off with before we get into your reaction on the Night of Champions, or at least a couple of the areas of the Night of Champions. Hulk Hogan's health has been in the headlines starting last week when Bubba the Love Sponge on his show said that Hogan was in a pretty bad condition, and it was sort of like dismissed. But now I'm seeing Sportskeeda published an article that Hogan probably had a heart transplant or some kind of cardiac procedure and is in the hospital. And basically they're asking for prayers for Hogan. What do you make of that? I take it he hasn't been seen in the Tampa area for a while, and people are speculating about that.
Well, I hope he's okay. You know what I mean? He's. Have you ever seen Hulk Hogan in person?
I've watched him. I saw him wrestle a number of times when I was a kid from front row area, and I mean I was very young, so he looked like a giant to me then. But that's probably not a good arbiter.
Physically, one of the biggest human beings I've ever stood next to in my life. He just monstrous overall, bigger than Taker. He's a gigantic guy. Those big guys have a tendency to have heart issues, so I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think he had a heart transplant. That's a pretty serious operation. But listen, man, he took steroids his whole life, lifted weights, and wrestled. It beat you up, so it's possible to have even Triple H had a heart thing, right? You know, so it happens. I wish him well. He was always a good guy to me. He tells a lot of tall tales, so I'm sure he'll spin this in a direction that will benefit him.
Well, yeah, let's hope he kicks out. But you know as well as I do, even without the gas, lifting heavy and carrying around like the weight that we carry around, it's even if you do cardio and whatnot, your heart gets enlarged, and it's no joke.
No, it's not. It's a dangerous thing. So I wish him well. I hope he's okay. Always a gentleman to me. I couldn't say a bad word about Terry.
What about this stuff that started on Reddit about Ric Flair coming to the bars in the area and shitting himself? That seems to have taken on a life of its own too.
Is that the worst rumor you can put out about somebody? Let's face it. He goes out, gets drunk, and he's not the nicest guy in the fucking world. He has a tendency to turn to an asshole. But I guess when your diet is vodka and orange juice, that has a tendency to do that to you.
Wasn't it kamikazes?
Ooh, whatever the fuck. I have no fucking clue. It was the vodka and whatever.
Well, as long as he's wearing a Wu Pens, an adult undergarment, then everything should be fine. He countered that. I had it pulled up at one point, but he said it wasn't, that kind of fluid running down his leg. It was semen.
Yeah, it was semen, I believe he said, right?
Yeah. God love him, eh? He never loses his wit, so to speak.
He doesn't fucking care. He makes $3 million a year being Ric Flair. He doesn't care.
I was going to say I wouldn't either. So, well, best of luck health-wise to Hogan, and for Ric Flair's bowels to make a comeback too. But at 76 or 5 or
do we need a death pool on Hogan and Flair? Who's going to go next?
You know what? I thought of that myself. I'm like, holy cow! I would have thought for sure. Well, Flair almost died 10 years ago, and he kicked out of that. But I thought for sure Flair would be the one to at least his liver has to be hanging by a thread, a minimum. Yeah, unbelievable. Well, we'll keep on top of that and for sure talk about it in the weeks to come. Hopefully, both are fine and live to do their thing for many, many years to come. So Morris and I on the weekend did a quick review of WWE Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. I know you saw our review and caught some of the show. Just in general terms, can you give me your impressions of the event?
I think Cena and Punk far and above stole the show, as they should have. I think Seth did a great job with the run-in. I don't know why this Sami Zayn is so beloved by the office, and Killer Cross just continues to get buried here. Is there heat? Are they working this toward another angle? I don't understand it.
Yeah,
Killer,
it's
he has every tool
yes.
they love. He can talk. He looks great. He's big. He can work. He's got probably the hottest girl in the WWE by his side. They won't even push her. So whatever those two did, I don't know. But I don't see it. I don't understand the Sami effect and why they make him look like Superman. I don't get it.
Well, and that's what I asked Morris to explain to me, explain Sami Zayn to me, and he tried, but I just don't get it. I think those two in the ring, it's ridiculous how the size differential alone. Killer Cross looks like a wrestler. He's a throwback in that respect that he could fit in the 80s. He could have fit in the Attitude Era. He was or is a really credible individual. That's Sami Zayn, who's got arms the size of my wrists at the bicep and looks like, I don't know. I don't know what the gimmick is. I guess when he first debuted there at NXT, he was trying to be a ska cab driver or something. Or anyway, whatever it is, it's just ridiculous that Cross has to. A lot of people are saying, "Oh well, be patient. They're going to do something." I don't think so. I think unfortunately there's heat there somewhere, maybe with Triple H, as people have speculated, but he's going to be on his way out of the company. And what a waste! What a waste!
Well, I would hope not. Sometimes they surprise you, but he's been there forever. He's been there for 6 years now, right?
Yeah, thereabouts.
Beast thing. They brought him back. Somebody likes him. I don't know why they don't push the guy. And I saw a thing where they said maybe it's because he won't take a back bump. Well, I don't know. He's got all the tools. I don't see the reason why you wouldn't push the guy.
Well, and a guy like that who's that big and strong shouldn't really be bumping all over the place anyway. But regardless, they followed it up with a deal last night on Raw.
Pushed into the moon.
Yeah, exactly.
His famous word, "You're not, because I'm 7 feet tall and you're not." So he didn't say that. But he bumped for me.
Yeah. True. Good point. They followed it up last night with Cross and Sami, and I guess he laid him out or attacked him with a pipe or something. So, but we'll see where it goes. I just don't think he should have, given the fact that, even if it is a Saudi show, who cares? He shouldn't have lost. What do you think about this Jane Cargill deal?
I think Jane Cargill is a very attractive woman, and I see why they want to push her. However, they're going to get the adverse effect because she's not very good. She can't carry the ball, and now they're going to put her in a title match with, I don't know who she's going to work with the title, but she's too many botches on little things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can't fault anybody for fucking something up in the ring, but every time, and it's always something easy. So I don't know what they're going to do with it. I don't think putting the belt on her is wise. I think Charlotte Flair needs to work her a bunch of times so she can get better. I think she has the look. She's got the physique. I mean, she's a beautiful woman. But she can't talk well enough to cut a promo. And she's not ready.
Well, and they blamed AEW for her when she first came over. They said all she did was do squashes and AEW, and she never learned anything. And that was a fair point, but she's been in WWE now for 2 years, and I don't think she's progressing fast enough or to the point where she should be carrying a title.
No, absolutely not. I don't think she's marketable enough to carry a title. She was teamed up with frickin' Bianca for a year and a half. I mean, she got better. She did improve, but the mic skills aren't there. I'm not seeing them being there. And her facial is there.
Mm-hmm.
Can she get there eventually? Maybe. But you better shit or get off the pot at this point. If they're going to give you a SummerSlam main event Is it going to be Tiffany Stratton, or is it going to be?
I missed that because, quite frankly, although I should stop myself before I bury women's wrestling in the WWE anymore that I already have, because the Rhea Ripley and Roxanne Perez hardcore match, it was a Saudi street fight or whatever they called it. That wasn't bad. That was pretty good. So especially by Roxanne Perez, who I've not seen work a lot, she impressed me with the physicality in that match. So I guess the odd time there's a gem there, but yeah, Jade Cargill, I understand she looks like $1.5 million, but she's limited at this point anyway.
What was Bobby Heenan? $1 million body and a 10-cent brain.
Mm-hmm. And then the bell rings. Were you around Ryback at all? Probably not, right?
Not around Ryback. Ryback was after me. That's what he came in through the NXT TV show, right?
Yeah, well, he started.
I've also never heard a bad word about Ryback. I just know that he hates CM Punk, and vice versa.
Well, interestingly, Ryback came out and defended CM Punk for apologizing to Saudi Arabia. Did you catch his apology in the pre-show for the pay-per-view?
Well, apology.
What apology? Or you saw it?
I saw it. I saw him apologize. I caught it. I understand from WWE's standpoint why he apologized, but I wouldn't have apologized. He wasn't wrong, now he's getting paid. When he called it blood money then, but now he's there to get the same money, and all of a sudden he's apologizing. So that sounds like a sellout on Mr. Brooks's part to me.
Well, it came across as a bit disingenuous, but an individual who is well known in terms of the WrestleNomics website. He does good stuff. Brandon Thurston, his name, tweeted out, and I'll read it to you. An inspiring moment of self-realization in the kingdom of Saudi Arabia as CM Punk courageously aligns himself with a visionary government that criminalizes being gay and occasionally kills its critics. Well, a little bit of virtue signaling there, but Ryback surprisingly said to this post, said, "I've had many issues with Punk, but I don't see him as a sellout," Ryback wrote. "He returned to do what he loves and to make money, much like you're doing by writing critical think pieces about others for clicks." He said, the WWE is a global business and it's complex, et cetera, et cetera. And he said, working at that level means navigating complex deals, personal beliefs, and public perception. His apology wasn't about abandoning values. It was about how he expressed them publicly in ways that hurt professional relationships. So, yeah, I don't know what to make of that either, really.
Sounds like Ryback's trying to get a job back in WWE. After all the talking he did.
Maybe, but he has said that he won't be able to compete in the ring ever again because I guess his back is totally gone. But I found it. That's what I was thinking. Maybe in some other capacity, but definitely a strange tweet.
Well, he's not capable of being anything other than a wrestler. I mean, he's not. He couldn't be a producer. He could be anything. He's in the knowledge. I don't understand why his back's so fucked up. I mean, he's a big son of a bitch. Maybe he hurt it squatting or deadlifting, but he didn't. He's not Bryan Danielson. Why he fucked his back up so bad?
Yeah, he did blame it on in-ring competition. Maybe when he lifted up Albert, a guy that you know well, and did the shell shock a couple of times when he was Lord Tensai. What was your experience working with Albert in the ring? Who's now the head? Is he the head trainer in NXT or something?
Good for him. They couldn't have picked a better guy. Albert's one of, if not my favorite guys to work. Loved Albert. Great guy. Listened. Gave as good as he get. He could sniff the shit up. He never cried. Never complained. And we'd always try and break each other in the ring, laughing. We had a great time with Albert.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I said, he gave, we were in where were we? We were in Pittsburgh, and we were looking at he had the matches on the wall, the card, and it said Albert's name, but he had no opponent. Albert said, he said, "Oh, I'm wrestling nobody." To which I jokingly said, "Well, then you must be wrestling me." And he put his hand on my shoulder. He said, "Dude, don't you ever say you are definitely not a nobody around here. You are really, everyone loves you." It was like the sweetest moment in the world. I was like, "Thank you, Al." And then they walked up and wrote my name on the board, so it must be anyway.
Cool. Well, that match is available on, or at least one of them is available on YouTube, and it's we'll talk about this more in future episodes, but. And I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass here, but what I notice in all of those matches where you were against at least the mid card, upper mid card talent, they really, you had very good matches with them, and there was give and take there, and the commentators, especially the great Kevin Kelly, went out of their way to mention, this JR Ryder is a tough son of a bitch. And as testing, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a big tip of the hat to a guy that was brought in for syndicated work, and they really put you over in the ring and out.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I did appreciate that. And what was that started with Dan Severn, which you posted. I guess some of you guys posted a picture of me wrestling Dan. I wrestled.
You had more hair then.
Wrestled Dan in my debut. And I came in the back, and Jim Cornette came in the back, and he said, "Well, boy, you take a classic ass kicking." And he said, "We want you here next." That was it next week. I think it came back, and that was Giant Silva, and I worked Giant Silva, and then I put him over. And then when I came in the back after that, who was it who grabbed it? I think it was Sergeant Slaughter. He said, "All right, no more no offense for you." He said, "No more no offense. I think you have the tools to do this, and we're gonna." Oh, yeah, so that they wouldn't let. I wasn't getting jobs straight out, and that also Billy Fies also was another one who wouldn't get jobs straight out. If you can find a Billy Fies match, he wouldn't get jobbed either. It was always. It was very rare you'd see one of us get the shit kicked out of us. Even when they put the team up with other guys, the other guy would get beaten head to death. I'd do most of the offense.
Well, and I mean, good for them, because it is more credible to have a guy of your size and look, have a competitive match with one of these stars or mid and upper card guys, and then when they beat you, they've actually accomplished something, rather than have you go in and get completely squashed. Because no offense to, I'm thinking about some of the extras that were less than professional in the 80s, like or a guy that looked like, say, Ricky Ataki or some of those skinny little guys that of course it wouldn't be credible that they would get any offense in. So I think they Sarge and whoever put those matches together knew what they were doing, because it was entertaining. And when the guy won, like you and Billy Gunn almost had a 50-50 match in that one that was on that we posted a couple of, I guess it was last week, some of the screenshots.
Billy Gunn let me kick out of his finisher.
Yeah.
I was the first one to ever kick out of it. I might be the only one to kick out of the finisher. Mm-hmm. But I kicked out, and we didn't tell anybody we were going to do that. I kicked out of the finisher. He kicked out on two. I went, okay, done. So if you watch how I took it, I didn't take it all because I didn't want to kill his finisher off. But I was very honored that Billy did that for me.
Yeah, I mean, it says a lot that they wanted to work with you like that. And I thought between WWF and TNA, they really missed the boat, because, man, you talk about having the tools and being good on the mic and whatnot. They could have done more with you and drew money. We talked about what happened in TNA, but I think WWE absolutely should have pulled you off TV, repackaged you, and rolled you out as started winning some matches.
Well, back then, the talent pool, and that wasn't just the talent pool on TV. You also had OVW. So I mean, just having the spot that I had was an honor because the guys at OVW wanted it. They couldn't get it. I had that on lockdown. And, breaking through to that next level where me, Christian, Edge, Test, Triple H, who else had the long wrestler hair? Like, we all looked similar in stature. So it was hard to break through back then. You had to really Brock Lesnar came in and changed the fucking game, right? Like, he came walking in event. But, like, other than that, it was tough. So just getting to that spot, that's a one in a million spot to get there, So it's an honor. It was a pleasure to do it. I'm glad I got to do it. I had a good run. I never went to the main event like we all wanted to do, but you know what? I was in the building when I started doing it. Everyone said I'm wasting my time. You're not big enough. You're not this. You're not that. Okay, no problem. And then all of a sudden, I'm in Madison Square Garden. All of a sudden, oh, I believed in you. I knew you. Yeah, okay, sure you did. So, but it was a lot of fun, man. But I do appreciate the kind words. And I'll tell you else, Inferno kid, Danny Jamundo.
Yes.
He was a close second there too. He worked his ass off. Really good friend of mine. He was my road partner. We teamed for a while on the Indies, and a really good guy. And he deserved it. He signed a developmental eventually, and he went down to OVW. They never did much with him, but a good guy, very talented. Him and I were a great tag team on the Indies. The Connecticut Connection with Kevin Kelly as our manager, and it was good. It was good. We had a good life.
I'd love to have him on the show too. I guess we can kind of put out a spoiler now that in the near future, hopefully, we're going to have your good friend and former WWE superstar Doug Basham on the show.
Doug Basham is one of my favorite people, not just in wrestling, just in the world. And we met at OVW in 03, I think. I went down there for a training camp and met Doug. We've been very good friends ever since.
Yeah, what a sense of humor. It comes across even in Messenger. So we're looking forward to that. He's a very busy man, as he said.
Mother Daddy Doug.
He is so over that people really want his time. So that's true. We're gonna nail down a date and do that in the near future. Want to talk about? Oh, we have lost Mr. Oh, now you're back. Now you're back. Can you hear me still?
We went dark. Doug was very intricate in the Kenny Knightle idea. He was a very big proponent of it. And I will say this, and this is a spoiler. You can expect to see Kenny Knightle resurgence in OVW in the very near future.
Oh, my. That's a big announcement. We're going to have to keep on top of that.
All right, so that will be very soon.
Definitely want to see that. Speaking of, classics, one of my favorite gimmick matches of all time are the War Games. Did you enjoy those in Crockett, JCP, NWA?
I like the War Games. They were great matches because, you went till somebody had to quit, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were more violent, more blood back then. Actually, I didn't think the War Games last year was bad. I thought it was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
They really did a good job telling that story.
Yeah, a brainchild of Dusty Rhodes, and for so many years it was Rhodes and the baby faces against the Horsemen. Some of the most classic finishes and matches, gimmick matches of all time. Well, they're announcing again that War Games will be at Survivor Series this year. And they're talking about a few of the possible matchups, one of which being Paul Heyman's new stable versus CM Punk, and Sami Zayn, and some other individuals. What do you think about the potential for War Games with that Paul Heyman stable? Seems like a natural, doesn't it?
Well, I think that stable is much better than throwing CM Punk with Sami Zayn and Uso. I mean, that just looks weak from Jump Street.
Mm-hmm.
But then we can throw LA Knight in there. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the entertainment thing. I don't see how that team could win. And what, Roman Reigns back? You have the same match you had last year without Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
Where's
Well,
Randy coming in?
it's good that they're continuing on with it. I was kind of disappointed, but I understand when they switched the Survivor Series from those traditional matches to a hodgepodge of everything else. But I guess it's best to have one on the card.
So we were in Jacksonville. We were taking the bus back to the hotel, and Eddie Guerrero was on the bus. Who else? Somebody else on the bus too. Hell was I forget who it was, but he was on the bus and he was talking about Survivor Series and how much they all hated it because they had to lay down for like a clothesline or like a. He felt they all felt that it made them all look weak, and that was one of the reasons for its demise.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was Eddie Guerrero saying that.
Yeah, I never heard that before, but I guess it makes sense because they've only got so much time. They can't go through an hour per match. But I thought it was as a kid, I thought it was very, very entertaining. So we'll have to watch that, and hopefully they'll come up with something better than Punk and Sammy and Uso and LA Knight and whomever to face. So they got some time to build. Have you heard about the fact that this is one of the things about modern wrestling that drives me insane? Cody Rhodes recently came out on a podcast and said that he gets asked. He always gets asked about being the nice guy, and if he gets tired of it. And he said that he doesn't get tired of it because you have all these moments. And he said, I do think we're probably at the end of it, though, because there's only so much someone can call you. So basically, he's saying that his babyface days are coming to an end and telegraphing that he's going to turn heel. Cody, I think, has always had for some reason, a tendency to share in his interviews. We all remember from AEW when he was talking about, which made eyes roll everywhere, the workshopping his promos deal and all that stuff. What do you make of this statement, basically saying, I'm going to, I'm not really a heel, or I'm not really a baby face. I'm not really a heel. It's more of a character, and I'm going to turn heel soon.
He shouldn't say that. I mean, he shouldn't say a word about it. Kayfabe is dead, so I guess he's just maybe trying to force it. But Cena just turned heel, so he can't turn heel for another year. You have two heels of the show. He shouldn't be talking like that. His father rolled over in the grave when he said it.
Yeah, that's an excellent
secret,
point.
Baby. Keep it a secret. Don't be surprised.
That's an excellent point.
Don't tell people what's in the recipe. You just feed it to them. Don't you tell them what's in the recipe. You just feed it to them, baby. They're going to love it.
Yeah, that's something that I've often wondered when he overshares or exposes, so to speak, where he got that from, because Dusty sure believed in kayfabe without a doubt.
Well, he's in a position where he's the man. He's the Steve Austin of the company. I guess he thinks he can say whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about Steve Austin later.
I don't know why Cody Rhodes is king of the ring. I don't know who that helps.
Mm-hmm.
But it did not help create a new star.
No, exactly. A lot of fans were saying, "Oh, he acted heelish in his match with Randy Orton at Night of Champions." But I can't stand when like everybody knows it's a work, but you really are taxing the audience. And again, maybe we're not definitely the target demographic that they're after, but I don't know how fans can suspend disbelief when you get stuff like that out in the public domain.
I see what you did there. Suspend disbelief. I see it. No, you can't.
Well, you can if it's not thrown in your face all the time. It's the same thing with this show that they're premiering soon, where they rip the curtain completely off, I guess, and have the cameras into the creative meetings and et cetera, et cetera. I won't be watching that. But I guess if it makes the money, then that they'll do whatever they need to do.
I don't know what the point of ruining the mystique is. I don't know why Triple H is. I guess he doesn't have the power to stop it, and he's going to make his money. I mean, he's worth $50 million now. He'll be worth $80 million when it's all said and done. So, I guess he doesn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not many wrestling traditionalists out there. One of the guys that you've spoken very highly of in TNA, Abyss. There was a story about Chris Park, known to wrestling as Abyss. They were asking him, he didn't get that run in WWE. There was some talk that he was going to come in against The Undertaker, which I thought would have been amazing. Huge fan of his work in TNA in terms of those Monsters Ball matches. Just incredible. So many great hardcore moments he had. And then he flipped the script and took on that character where he was the lawyer with the amnesia. Anyway, brilliant stuff. Loved him with James Mitchell. Can't say enough about him. They asked him if he's going to ever wrestle again, and he said, quite frankly, I'm done. I don't have any plans to wrestle again. And he's, of course, behind the scenes in WWE, and he says he's quite happy. But what a miss that was not to get an Abyss run in WWE.
I met Abyss in TNA. I worked AJ Styles. I met him before the show and after the match. We wanted to work each other. Him and I would have been torn the house down. Me and Abyss. Wasn't meant to be, but what a nice guy. I mean, a gentleman through and through. I can't say enough good things about him. I'm glad he's doing well, but I understand the hanging it up. How old is he now? Is he in his 50s yet?
I think he's just 50, 51-ish around there, about our age.
What's he got left to prove? He's not going to be WWE champion. He's not in the best physical shape, I don't think, so I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. We all want to have another bump left in us, but we all know when it's over. I knew it was over. At least he's smart enough to know that it's over.
Do you think that he could have that program against The Undertaker? Do you think that would have worked?
I think it would have worked in the short term, and then they would have buried him. Because then you would have had two Canes running around. Which one are you getting rid of?
Yeah,
right?
Good point. We've got an interesting story about Keith Lee. You're familiar with his work, correct?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, came in to he was an indie darling for a number of years, a big man, very agile. I guess conditioning has been a problem for him, and when he cuts his promos, he kind of sounds like William Shatner. Did you notice that? Cornette pointed that out.
Now that you said it, I did. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And anyway, a lot of promise. He didn't do so well in WWE, and he transitioned over to AEW, and they thought he was going to be used properly, but he's been off television since 2023. He had an injury issue since about 2022, and a fan was saying, when are you going to heal up on X and come back? Want to see you back? And he said, I'm quite fine. It's not up to me when it comes to a return, but blessings you as well. So he's basically saying that he's injury free now, and he's sitting at home. What is Tony Khan doing with this bloated roster, paying these guys to sit home, notwithstanding the merits of Keith Lee or not, but just another one of these stories about a guy who's sitting around doing nothing, collecting checks.
Well, here's what upsets me. I'm going to have to call Chris Daniels and figure out how I get one of these checks. I'm all about sitting home and getting paid. That'd be great. That's the Kevin Nash philosophy. I don't know what they're doing with they haven't really done a very good job with big men in AEW. Because the Young Bucks probably don't like big men in OVW. They want the little guys to get their break, which is why all the little guys are champions. Miro went there, did nothing with him. Who's the other freaking monster they had there? EC3 was there, right?
Yeah, briefly.
Bravely, nothing with him. I mean, all these big guys, they go there, they get nothing. Nothing. I mean, what's Edge doing? Is Edge doing anything?
I think he's. I don't think he's active in the ring right now, but that's an excellent point. It's definitely a super indie, spot monkey organization. It always has been, but I don't understand why Tony keeps these guys on the payroll if he has no plans for them. No, I mean, not good for them, but
Tony is not surrounded by businessmen. He is surrounded by independent wrestlers. He is taking advice from Chris Daniels and the Young Bucks and all these indie guys who say, oh, Samoa Joe's my friend. Oh, they're my friend. This guy's my friend. Well, I shouldn't say Samoa Joe. He can actually work. But you know what I'm saying. So he's thinking, oh, we'll keep them around because we're going to need them. But he doesn't have any businessmen around him going, what the fuck are you spending all this money on these people for? They bring in zero revenue. This guy hasn't sold a T-shirt in 3 years. Bye. We wish you all well in your future endeavors. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So he needs to start doing that.
Well, I don't know whether that's going to happen, but it certainly is. You're right. It's not a business. And I think CM Punk said that when he left. It's not a business. And Cornette again called it all friends wrestling, which I think still stands up.
That's what it is. You can't fire our friends. We'll be upset. Oh, I don't want to upset the Young Bucks. If I fire this guy, I'd rather pay him $250 to sit home. Well, shit. You can pay me $75. I'll sit home. I'll keep $75 extra on the side. That'd be all right to do nothing.
I think you should. I think you should make that call. Although I don't think the money train's going to be running out anytime soon.
I don't. When they sell the Jaguars, that money train's gone, and that's coming.
True. Rob Van Dam made a statement. Are you familiar with some of the pundits talking about Goldberg and burying him, calling him Oldberg, and just because he's quote unquote old, saying that he shouldn't be on TV? Have you seen all this nonsense?
I've seen it. They're attacking Goldberg, but you know what Goldberg is? He's an attraction. He's over. He's on Saturday Night's Main Event, and people will tune in to see Goldberg spear Gunther.
100%. Rob Van Dam, though, addressed this, and he said, basically, age is relative to pro wrestling, depending on how you can perform top level wise. And he said he finds it strange when younger people use it as an insult. And he said the old deal. He goes, it's weird that it's subjective, because when people look at me, you're only as old as you feel. And I just like, is that a question? It's a weird subject. I think people act weird around it, the way they dance around it, because if you're in your 20s, then you probably consider me old, RVD said. But he said, it's weird to me that they think they're one up, like I'm sub-choice because of my age. I would never want to be 23 instead of 54. I mean, I would never trade back. And maybe I'm rare that a lot of people probably would. But because of that, it's just funny if people try to use that insulting. And I'm like, dude, come on. So in Rob Van Dam fashion, he pointed out that, it really is a subjective thing depending on who the person is. And I applaud him for what he said about not wanting to go back and be 20-something again. I sure as heck would not want to be. And I think experience is key. And wrestling is a unique deal that if you're so inclined, you can wrestle even into your, not Gypsy Joe age, but through your 50s for sure. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I see another one. Goldberg's in great shape. Listen, the same people that are criticizing Goldberg, they wouldn't fight Goldberg in a million years. So he's still 235, 240, isn't he?
I think he's 260 still.
260? I don't know what he was 320 at one point. He was gigantic. But listen, he's there to do one. He's going to hit a spear. He's there to hit a spear and have Seth Rollins come out and beat Gunther. He's going to go do his job.
and he's never been one to go out.
Love it.
Well, he's never been, like you point out, he's never been one to go out there and be Will Ospreay. So I think the fact that he's an attraction, he still looks credible. I think the fans are not all the fans, but whoever these pundits are, probably young Bucks fans, and they're not really that young anymore either, are they?
No, they're just short and fat.
Yeah, never been a fan. But anyway, we'll see. I'm gonna.
Goldberg, a nicer guy there could not be.
Yeah.
Really, just the nicest guy in the world. And in fact, when I debuted Kenny Idol, he loved it. I was in the back. I was talking to my wife on the phone, and Goldberg walked in the locker room, said hello, asked who I was talking to. I said, talking to my wife. And he goes, yes. And I threw him the phone. He talked to my wife for like 10 minutes.
That's awesome.
He's the nicest guy in the world. So
yeah, and
I hope he wins the belt again. Good for him.
Yeah, why not? He could have a short transitional run. I think Goldberg gets some heat from this thing about kicking Bret Hart in the head. And I like Bret Hart a lot, but come on, man. It's been a very long time. Let's not. And he's apologized a gazillion times about it. Let's move on.
I love Bret Hart, who also has been very good to me. Let me tell you something. Put your fucking hand up. Bret Hart didn't put his fucking hand up. Goldberg put his foot up, and Bret Hart ran right the fuck into it. So, no, Goldberg didn't kick Bret Hart in the face. Bret Hart kicked Bret Hart in the face.
Yeah, either way, it's time to move on. Oh, and here's a weekly story, Mr. Ryder, that we tend to include for amusement. Do you remember Tegan Knox, the WWE female talent?
Yes, I do. Let me guess. Does she have a new endeavor? Is she an entrepreneur now?
She's a digital creator now. And what do you think that is?
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say that there are 10,000 men from India giving her $9 a month to show her fanny to the world. Absolutely.
As of June the 28th, her OnlyFans went live, and she says this has been a long time in the making. I've always been a very self-conscious and unconfident person, but after a long time of working on my body and my brain, I'm finally saying, F it. I'm proud of what I've accomplished. So come to my OnlyFans page and subscribe. Come look at my butthole.
What happened to the world, bro? We need Milf Hunter on here for this. Where's Milf Hunter at?
Where is Milf Hunter?
He just got back from Canada 2 days ago. So
we need him on. He'll address this.
He's probably the most famous beloved Canadian. You're saying it's the hockey player, and no, it's Milf Hunter.
He's a number 5, probably.
He's number 5, right behind Gretzky. Yeah. He's right behind Trudeau. All right, so anyway, back to Knox. Yeah, so it's always been a dream of hers to be a porn star.
Show her butthole.
Hey, listen, what took her so fucking long? What the fuck? With the patriarchy we live in, where women can't get ahead unless they work hard. I wish I could show my balls on there that make fucking $100,000 a month.
Well, I think Matt Riddle tried it, but it's not going so well. The part that I'm having an issue making the mental leap, the connection is when she says, and get this, I'm proud of what I've accomplished. And she was talking about working on her body and her brain, ... So come check out my OF page and subscribe.
Wasn't she the one saying that she was body shamed? And
no, that was the other one. Cora Jade, guess what she said too? She said this, recently opened up about her experience on the platform, revealing it was, quote, probably the best career decision I've ever made.
Career decision. Career, not life decision. Any chance of her ever getting married and having children just went flying out the window.
Well, any chance of working for WWE again or doing many other endeavors, I think, is flying out the window. I mean, you and I are fortunately not in this this demographic, but there's this phenomenon of these simps and these gooners. Like, they wouldn't be opening these pages if there wasn't a market for it. And young men these days, they're dating less. They're having fewer relationships with women, and a lot of this. This is why. And I think I'm not against pornography per se, whatnot, but I think this has taken on a life of its own, and it's very toxic to our society.
I agree 100%. The issue is not, and a lot of the young men are desensitized to these girls, want nothing to do with them. But who's going to marry these girls? No one's marrying you. Tegan Knox, you're never getting married. You've just sealed your fate. You can come lay on the front of Milf Hunter's yacht, and we'll float her around the intercoastal, and we'll look at her naked, but then just get the fuck out.
The next time you're talking to Milf Hunter, I think it's time that he makes a comeback, and we could probably suggest some collabs with Milf Hunter and former WWE female competitors. What do you think?
He's in. He'd love to make the comeback. He hasn't stopped talking about it for 20 years.
Well, I think you need to get on the phone and talk to him, and when you do that, compliment him about his work with Brandy May. Last story is a big one. This is exciting for some, concerning for others, but major WWE Hall of Famer may be returning for one more match. Stone Cold Steve Austin. According to a new report from Fightful, he recently intimated, there's a word you don't see much in pro wrestling media, he might have one more in him, suggesting he is open to another match under the right circumstances. The report states that word from more than one source this year has it that Austin was at least open to the idea. He last competed in that street fight deal with Kevin Owens in 2022, but had his initial retirement match in 2003. So he's been out of the game a lot. They're saying there would be significant interest from the locker room, no shit, to have a match with him, and a potential opponent is that dream match that they've thrown around for years against CM Punk. What do you think about Steve coming out of retirement potentially?
What would it look like if on John Cena's last night, Steve Austin came out and took the belt?
Be a big deal.
How would that look?
Mm-hmm.
Who else? He's going through everybody. Who else is going to come out and Steve Austin shows up and takes the belt? He sold his soul to The Rock, and The Rock's kryptonite has always been Steve Austin. So hey, listen, he'll get the eruption will be massive if Steve Austin comes out. So maybe that's what he's referring to.
Do you think it's a good idea though for him physically?
Yeah, why not? He's got $100 million. He'll be all right. What's the worst that happened? Hurt himself?
I think for a WrestleMania moment, I think this time they if he does it, they should actually build it and advertise it. And maybe The Rock has one more left in him for Austin. Wouldn't you say that main event in Houston was that WrestleMania X7 or 18? I can't remember. That was one of the greatest main events.
Yep. It was great. Well, they all were. They did 15, 16, and 17, right? So 17 was Houston. 15 was Philadelphia, I believe, which I was a cop and a druid at. It's my WrestleMania moment.
'Nice.
I think bringing Steve Austin back to take the title off Cena would make a whole lot of sense. Not let him run.
Absolutely.
Not taking it with you. Staying here. I'm the biggest star, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he can hand it off to whoever he wants. He wouldn't even have to wrestle again. He could just retire with it. You know what I mean? And hand it back. So that would be good. But Austin's neck is very bad. And let's go back to the Hearts, because now I'm thinking about Steve Austin's neck. And I don't know if people realize this. Bret Hart is claiming that Goldberg kicked him in the face and gave him a strike. Watch the video. Bret did not put his fucking hand up. That's Bret's fault. Owen Hart legitimately broke Steve Austin's neck and Dan Severn's with the same fucking move. Think about that. So the Harts, as great as they were, still fairly dangerous.
Well, that pile driver that Owen delivered to Steve Austin was an unusual one at best, and definitely, I think Steve still has some animosity towards Owen for it, even though Owen's been gone for years. But
pile driver to Dan Severn, same exact.
When was that?
Severn, yep.
When was that?
That was on Raw.
I completely missed that, I think.
Zach pile driver. And my understanding was Owen said, I'm going to go to my knees, and both times dropped to his ass.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, when you look at the pile driver itself, if done properly, it's a fairly benign move, like the old style, the sit back, the funk, Lawler. I think the best pile driver of all time was Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, though. What do you think?
It's probably right there at the top. A lot of good pile drivers, though. But no, that was a good one. Who else had a really good one? Jerry Lawler had a good pile driver.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, I think Orndorff's more devastating. Orndorff's more devastating on it.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think he ever injured anybody, did he?
Not that I know of. I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. They don't use it very much anymore at all. I think it still even might be on the ban list, but I find that funny when the pile driver isn't used. When you look at the all the other stuff, the super massive flips and planchas and everything else. I mean, that seems to me to be far more dangerous. Some of the stuff they do in AEW than a pile driver, but whatever.
I would imagine it's not banned in AEW. I imagine it's only banned in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they stopped using the pile driver because of Undertaker's tombstone.
That's true.
Tombstone was nobody else was using it. That's why that happened.
You know who had a really good pile driver? It just popped into my mind. That stuffed pile driver by Jerry Lynn. Great talent.
I don't know if I ever saw it. I'll have to look it up. I don't recall seeing it. But
Jerry Lynn package pile driver.
Jerry Lynn was an underrated wrestler. He never got his just desserts.
I agree. Yeah, ECW original, great. He had some all-time classics in ECW, including against Rob Van Dam. Well, we've come to the end. I know you've got to go and look up Tegan Knox on OnlyFans and see what the sub costs and many other things. It's certainly a heavy news week this week, and lots seems to be happening in the business. Are you going to go out now and enjoy your pool in the sunshine?
I'm going to lay in the pool and float around and contemplate our next show. And I think we'll have a celebrity guest next time.
That's exciting stuff, but it's always good to shoot the breeze with you, the big bad wolf, Mr. Ryder, and fans. Be sure to
El Gigante Americana.
Sorry, that's coming out next after who do they have? They've got somebody else under the hood now. I think Kaiser. It's that Kaiser. That's pretty brilliant. I'm enjoying that storyline. I think they should bring in, you know what they could do? They could make it like a machines gimmick, and you could be the Gigantico machine, but Gigantico Americano.
El Slow Movo Machino.
And then they'll throw in a medium-sized guy like Mulligan or whatever, and it would be tremendous. But fans, that's it for this humor-filled edition of Ryder's Wrestling Review. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button. We have fluid schedules here. Sometimes we do them on certain days, other times another. It's a dynamic program, but if you do that and follow us on all social media, Cheap Heat Productions, you won't miss anything. For the Big Bad Wolf, El Gigantic Americano, I am Jack Kilby. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at Cheap Heat Productions. Don't forget to hit the notification button and you won't miss any of our upcoming interviews,